Well, I'm back. I'm back. How's it going, man? Chale's Legacy Podcast, episode number 10. I know it's been a minute, man, since I've been on. I've been busy with everything going on. My kids playing football, um, work, my son. We caught COVID, man, I would say about a couple months back. Me and the whole family, man. I think it started off with Tristan, and then it moved on to my wife and my son, my baby boy. And then it moved to me and Cammy. The only one that didn't get in this house was DJ. But it's like ever since we got COVID, my son gets sick like really bad. He'll get like like breathing problems, and we had to get him was it nebulizer or what is it? The things that he breathing treatments is what he gets. So we've been dealing with that, and he's been getting sick, little allergies and stuff going on. He just got over it not so long ago, and then this past weekend, all three of my kids, my oldest kids, all three of them were throwing up during the Dallas Cowboys game. So it was crazy. Like it was one after another. They got that stomach bug. So along with football, and then my kids playing football, DJ on Thursday, Tristan on Saturdays doing practice all week. Then now the boxing gym is back open. My boxing gym is open here again, or our boxing gym's open. My dad's legacy, Charlie's legacy gym is open again, and just busy, man. But I'm gonna try to get back on this. I'm gonna interview somebody on Saturday. I got a special guest for you guys Saturday. If everything goes right, we send it up Saturday about 5 or 6. I'm gonna interview this group, this rap group, man, that's coming through, and I'm very supportive on them and very intrigued by them, and I wish them nothing but the best, and I just want to talk on them and get them out there a little bit, man. But I'm back. I'm gonna try to do at least one or two every month or so and get it going. I know I've had a lot of people hit me up, hey, no more podcasts, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just been real busy, man. So I'm trying to get back on it. I had done a podcast a while back, but I never posted it because one, I was by myself, and I never really I missed out on a lot that I was talking about unboxing, and I just didn't want to I didn't want to post it with missing out with some of the most important things that I want to talk about. Hopefully, I get everything on this one, so I can post this one. If not, then we'll pick back up and do a continuation on this in episode 3 or something like that. But we'll rock and roll with it. But I hope you guys are enjoying this. Once again, this Chale's Legacy Podcast, episode number 10. And I want to just continue getting going, man. And I still got a lot of people I need to interview. And like I said, I apologize for the delay. And I hope y'all are into this one. And I hope you guys are excited. And I'm sorry it's going to be about me and my boxing career. But if you're into it, here we go. So how did I start boxing? I started boxing, again, I've mentioned it before. I've been around it my whole life. I've been around it my whole life. Um, Growing up, I see my dad boxing and, just being around it. And I knew one day I was going to do it, but I just didn't, never had time for it because my first love was football. I love football, man. And I would mimic a lot of the guys' moves, Barry Sanders and Emmitt Smith and all them. And, I thought I could get out of here playing football. But unfortunately, my God given height wasn't I'm 5'8". Most guys are 6 foot 6'2", and it's just, nobody can measure your heart, but it's just kind of hard to be known when you're 5'8". That's the truth of the matter. But I did play semi-pro football. There's the Laredo Red Raiders helmet. I played semi-pro football, and everything went good, man. I had a great time doing it. And I just decided, I got told that I was getting a little gordito, so I decided to try boxing. And when I tried it, my dad was more. He was more like, "Hey, if you're gonna do this," he said. The first thing I told my dad is that I want to try it. He's like, "Why?" He said, Why do you want to do this? Like, why do you want to box?" I said, "Because I want to try it. I've been around it my whole life, and I think I'm pretty good. I think I'm pretty strong, and I think I can throw some good punches. But I just want to try it." He said, "Listen to me. You're not doing this because of me, right?" I was like, "No, of course not. I'm the one that's gonna put all the work in. I'm the one doing all the running, and I'm the one doing everything. So why would I do it because of you?" He said, "Because I don't want nobody thinking that I'm forcing you to box." That was my dad's number one rule about this. I remember he told me, because I don't ever want anybody to tell me that I forced you to box. I said, no, I'm doing it because I want to do it. He said, okay, if you want to do it, just know that we're going to get serious and all the BS is going to stop. We're going to rock and roll and we're going to get it going. And you're not going to, if I see any lack of dedication or any lack of discipline, you're not gonna do it. I'm not gonna dedicate my time with you, and we're gonna stop. I'm always gonna love you, but I'm not gonna support you or put you in the ring if you're not fully ready. Because I've been doing it. He was like, because I've done it my whole life, and I know what it takes, and I know, well, this sport is very brutal. So I was like, okay. So I remember we started started one day, and I just started running, and I picked it up, and I remember it was about a month of training. We would spar, we would um, I want to get into that. We would spar here, and like my house, I have a little slab of concrete right here, and my dad would train here. I had one heavy bag, no double limb bag, no speed bag, no ring, just a slab of concrete right here. And me, my uncle Jacob, and Isaiah, we would train here, and we would work rock and roll here and do little shadow boxing, jump rope. We went through so many jump ropes because they would break with the concrete. We spar. I spar Jacob a lot. I spar Isaiah a lot. Isaiah did some good work with each other. Um, Elijah would get in there every once in a while, but Elijah's really not much of a boxer. I sparred my dad a couple times. My dad was the one that made my nose like this, how my nose is. But I love it now because I have memories of it because it looks pretty ugly. But it was just a good run. I sparred with my Tio Wala. My Tio Wala was a beat. Of course, these guys are a lot older and they're not what they used to be when they were younger. Because I'm sure they would have probably dominated me when they were. But they just gave me some good work. And it started off here. We started sparring here, and then little by little, I was going to school in Laredo. I was going to LCC with my boy Leonard Graham. Shout out Leonard. And we picked up there, and I started going to Carizales Boxing Club. Mind you, my dad fought Carizales 3 times. He's a world champion. When you guys go to Laredo and you look at the water tower that says home of the Carizales Boxing Champions, my dad beat Orlando Carizales twice. They fought 3 times, and my dad beat him twice, and Orlando beat my dad once in the amateurs. And so when I went to that gym for the first time, my dad took me, of course, and everybody knew who my dad was, Charlie Miranda, and man, they accepted him. They accepted me and him like nothing. I had to pay no fee. I was able to go into that gym out of my dad's name. They're like, hey, you're always welcome here, and they would tell me like, hey, they'll call me Catulo or Carlos. I don't remember what it was, but they would call me and they'd be like, you ever need anything? We got you. They treated me like I was a king there, man. They would dedicate their time to me and they would work with me one on one. They would have me spar their fighters, but most of the guys that I sparred there were like 15 years old. I was 19 already when I started fighting, so and I was about 180 pounds. I was I was working on football, and I was little by little going down. So I was about 180, 175 pounds sparring kids that are 120, 130. So they would tell me take it easy on them because they're little kids, but they want to give me work. Well, I didn't know how to spar, so I would kind of go rough on them, and then they hated sparring me. Um, I wasn't really getting any good work there, man, because them guys were just too little for me. And then, you know, we just kept going, and like I said, they trained me. And on my first fight, I ended up getting in San Antonio, and I fought a guy named I think his name was Simmons Kendrick or something like that. And I remember I fought him, and he was a big old, when we weighed in. Tell you a story, guys. When we weighed in, um, my first fight ever. My dad was telling me all these stories that when he would fight, and this is he fought in the 80s. We're in I think 2008, 2009 when I fought. He's talking about almost 29 years, 30 years, and he told me that is back then you'd have to strip naked, like get in front of the ring, get completely naked, like butt out naked, balls out, naked. So I was like, oh, for real? And he's like, yeah. He goes, you're gonna have to drop everything. So I was like, okay, well, I mean, no problem. Like, there's been my guys, right? So I'm like, why would I be nervous? This and that. Well, my first fight, we come up to it with the crowd was already, like the boxing arena was already packed. So I'm thinking to myself, oh man, like I'm gonna have to get in front of like there's moms, kids, women there, and I'm like, oh my god, like I'm gonna have to get naked in front of everybody. Everybody's gonna see me and this and that. So my heart rate was just pounding. Mind you, my opponent is like right there looking at me, and I just remember I was just like, man, this is crazy, and I could not pass my blood pressure. Like I could not pass it at all, and they literally I felt it 3 times. I was like 180 over something. I just remember 180 was you're supposed to be 120, and I was 180 beats per minute or whatever it's called. And I just remember like they told me 3 times, if you do not get down, you're gonna cancel the fight because you're borderline to get a heart attack or a stroke or something like that. And they had to put ice all over me, and I was just like, I'm okay, guys, I'm just nervous. And make a long story short on that, I ended up getting calm, and then I found I made it. I made the weight, and I made passed my blood pressure test, and then I ended up finally seeing my opponent. And when I saw him get up and saw his body structure, he was some big old black guy, man, like just big. And I remember I was like, oh my god, like I'm fighting him. Like he didn't look like 160. I remember I weighed 164 after a month of training, weighing almost 200 pounds. I gradually like went down little by little, and I weighed in at 164.5 or 8 or something like that. It was kind of like it was good, and I remember my dad was all excited. I lost 30 pounds or so, and the guy I fought was around 164 as well, 165 around there, and I just remember I was like, that guy does not weigh 165. Like, if that guy is 165, I want to see it because he's a big dude. He was a big old black guy, man. And I remember telling Jacob because we were at Carlos Boxing Club, and we had to go way on top. We were in a very top, it's a YMCA center, I believe, or yeah, something like that. And we were on very top, and we could see like through mirror through like glass windows, we could see the ring. And I remember I kept seeing that guy because his group, you start seeing like boxing teams together, and you start trying to figure out, okay, well, he looks like he's my weight, or he looks like he's around my weight. So I remember I saw him, and I was like, Jacob, it's either that guy or that guy, but that other guy's just too big. And Jacob was just like, he's like, hey, boy, don't worry about it, man. You know, whatever it is, you got the skills, Chip. You got the skills, and just keep your mind, keep focus, keep your mind straight. I said, all right, man. And well, it turns out I ended up being that guy, the big old black guy, man. I was scared. I was scared, guys. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I was like, man, I think I'm gonna fake an injury and call it quits because that guy's just big, man. And well, we ended up fighting, and I ended up beating him. I beat him off pure jabs. I remember that. I beat him off. I must have landed like 6 or 7 jabs, but he was swinging every punch he was swinging to knock me out, and he just couldn't like land on me because everything I was throwing was moving back, and I jumped one time and threw a punch, but I beat him. I beat him. I know it's very very obvious I beat him, and that kind of like after that fight kind of set my standards high. Where I was like, oh, like I beat this black guy, this big old black guy. Like I'm good now. I'm ready to fight. Whatever. So I started going down. My dad, when I was boxing, my dad was very, very, very like serious about me being active. So we'd fight every other week or every week. We'd fight constantly. So I think about a week later or two, my dad would make me fight again. I fought in Corpus. I fought a guy named Rosario. I think his name was Rosario. Now at that time I made 158 and he made 164. And he was a pretty good decent fighter, man. But he would kick me. He would kick me when we were fighting. Like he would, he was just very very like very rugged, very dirty, and I just dominated him, man. I was just way better fighter than him, and just outclassed him, man. And I beat him in Corpus, and I beat him on his hometown, and so I was 2-0, and training in Laredo, training with my friend, my dad, and some of the guys that I became friends with over there. I don't remember their names, but we all became buddies, man, and we all just started, working together. And they go support me, and I go support them. And at that time, my dad couldn't be in my corner because he didn't have his license yet. So I had to work with the other guys. But those guys were so respectful and real cool that they would just work with me in the corner and they would give me water while my dad's giving me instructions on the side while my dad had to sit in the bleachers. And my dad was just looking at me. He's like, do this, But they knew their role. Those guys knew their role. Those coaches knew their role, not to be like giving me advice because I had my corner, my main man over there. And that was something that was real cool about that. And I sent a big shout out to Carizales Boxing Club, man. They're awesome gym over there, man. Y'all check them out on the radio. But to go back to my story, man. 2-0. I remember going to a party here in Gatula, and I remember I was just like, who wants a piece of me? Because I'm too. I know my mind was just crazy, man. Because I was 2-0, and I just thought I was on cloud nine. I thought I was unbeatable until fight number 3. Give me 1 second, guys. My brother's calling me. Um, Fight number 3. I fought again back in the Carolón Boxing Club, and I fought Rodolfo Gomez like Orita. He's like big time now, man. He's a pro fighter. He beat a world champion, Ricardo Mayorga. He's a very had a draw with Lester Martinez. He's a good fighter, man. About 6'2", 6'3". And when I fought him here in San Antonio for my third fight, they had it gunning for me, man. And that was the only time that I can tell you that I remember that I was hurt. We were rock and rolling, man. First round, just tall dude, man, like 6'2", man, just big. And I was just coming at him hard, man, throwing all my hard punches at him. And The referee, they already had warned me with that referee, Jacob and Walla and all them. Warned me that hey, Jacob was like, hey, check out that referee right there. He ref me when I was fighting the gloves, and that referee sucks, boy. He calls everything, and just be careful with him, man. He's just a bad referee. So I said, okay, man. Like I didn't think too much about it. So first round came in, me and I was just throwing, boom, boom, boom. Well, the referee stops me, so it gives me a warning that I was my hands weren't closed when I was throwing. I don't know if you can see that, but he said he saw that, so. He gave me a warning there, and then he gave me about 10 warnings, guys. 10 warnings, shoulders, hitting over the head, not closing my hands, pushing, lowering the body, all this stuff, man. He just gave me, but I take no excuses. With that fight, like the first round we were throwing, and Rodolfo Gomez caught me with a sharp left hook, man. I never saw that punch coming, and he hit me right here, boom, and I lost my balance. I just remember my feet got so heavy. Like it felt like I had weights on them, man. And I just remember I was like, oh, I said, oh man, crap, I'm hurt. So I was just like, okay, come on, come on. And I just kept my alerts went out, and I said, okay, just come on, don't get caught, don't get caught. And I just throwing, boom, 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 and um, I recovered real quick because I was in pretty good shape. And then second round came in, I thought I dominated him, man. He was catching me a little bit, but I kept dominating him, and then third round came in, and the third round the referee kept, giving me warnings, and it just looked real bad. Like I to this day, me and my uncles and my brothers talking, they're like, "Hey, Chep, you did good, bro, but I think your ring generalship lost you that fight. Like you look sloppy, you look real sloppy. Like he looked like he was more poised, and I was like, it is what it is. My first loss, and then I recovered after that. I took about a couple of days off or about a week off, and then fight again. By then, guys, I think I was already making the transition to move to San Antonio. I was making the transition to move to San Antonio. I was gonna come to Northwest Vista over here in San Antonio, and I made the transition to come over here. We already knew a lot of people from here, so right away I went to the Ramos Boxing Club. Man, that is one of the best gyms I've ever been to. Ramos Boxing Club. Them guys were, but that's when Hector Ramos and Mike Ramos were active, man. And I remember the first time I went in there, they put me in there with Hector. And Hector was ranked, guys, number 1 or 2 in the nation. So I just didn't know who he was, but they wanted to test me out and see, how good I was. And man, that dude was on another level, man. I have a picture of him I took with him, and I tell him, I go, bro, like you literally, like you destroyed me, man. Like you like made my demeanor like I went from being up here. I took a loss, but then I came back up, and I just went down because that dude literally gave me work. My dad was telling me, he's like, that's world class work right there, man. That's some good work right there. Like if you can work with that guy, you can work with anybody. Just the way he southpaw, tall, powerful, man, lanky, man. Like just so sharp, man. All his punches, man. And I expected big things from that guy, man. But I'm pretty sure he got burnt out with the sport. He's been doing it since he was a kid, and I think he ended his career like 5-0, 5-1, or 5-0 or something like that. And he just a really good fighter, man. But that's what happens when you get burnt out with a sport because you always gotta be on a diet. You always gotta be running and disciplined, and you can never like just be normal, live a life, go out partying because you gotta keep your body clean, man. You gotta keep your body safe. But I work with him, and then where Ramos Boxing Club, that's on like the south side over here on Morrison or something like that. And I remember I was going to school in Northwest, so I was staying over there like on the west side by Medical Drive, and so the closest gym that I could find was the San Fernando Boxing Club, and we made the drive over there downtown, and I remember when I went into the gym for the first time, um, I went to go work out, and I told I think it was man, I think his name was Mike or no Pete. His name was Pete. Pete, not Pete Cantu, another guy named Pete Rodriguez or something like that. He was the owner, running the thing, and he told me, hey, this is our fee, and they don't really charge because they're a boys and girls club or something like that, or it's just like a club. There's nothing like to be charged, so it was pretty much free. And I was like, okay, you just gotta sign your name in and all this stuff. And when I get there, I just remember I walked in the gym and I saw some serious work, man. Like I just remember I seen actual good sparring. I was like, whoa, like I went from sparring little kids to seeing. I remember it was Heido, my friend Heido Castaneda, sparring a kid named I think his name was Jeremy, or I don't even remember the kid's name. And yeah, man, they were sparring, they were going at it, bro. And I just remember I was like, wow, like that's some good work. And I remember the first day I walked in, just everybody just kept their eyes on me. And I just remember I was like, okay, like I was kind of scared, but I was like, I already have experience, so you just walk into a gym and you get tested out, and everybody keep looking at you. And if I'm not mistaken, Heido came up to me and asked me what was my weight. And I said I fight at 152, man, but I'm a little heavy right now, about 160 or so. And I think Heido was about 140. I mentioned Heido because he was the closest dude I had there, him and Whitaker. But at the time, Whitaker wasn't really boxing at the time. Or Daniel was too, but he was. I think Daniel wasn't there. Or maybe he just. I don't even remember much about him. Stephen Hall as well. He was a pro fighter. But I remember Hyde already called me out the first day I got there. He's like, "Hey man, you want to get some work?" And I'm like, "Bro, I just got here. Like, let me warm myself up here, man. I'll be coming down more often. When do y'all spar?" And he's like, "Tuesday and Thursdays." And I said, "Okay, well I'll come and get some work with you." And I think the following week I came and you know got me in there with Heido. And I remember the first time I sparred Heido, like leading up to it. And I remember I went by myself. My dad was working, and I said I'm gonna make this gym my home gym, and I'm gonna start coming here every day. And I remember when I got in there, the guys told me they're like, "Hey, what's your name?" Carlos, I'm from Catula. So they just started calling me Catula. And then they're like, "Hey, when you spar this kid, he's got a good right hand." And I just remember I was like, "Okay, well, how good can it be?" Like, yeah, like be careful with his right hand. He's knocked some dudes out, and it's like, okay, well, like what's up? I told myself I'm gonna get my respect here. I'm gonna get some respect here because everybody's looking at me like I'm just another person. So I'm gonna get some respect here. So I remember when we got in there and first round came in and boom, 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 he caught me with that right hand. And I just remember I was like, okay, that's something. Didn't hurt me, didn't buzz me, but I was just like, whoa. Like I felt it and I said, okay. Mind you, I was sparring 15-year-old kids and little kids in Laredo, and then I sparred Hector, yes, but that was expected of Hector. Sparring Heido was like, whoa, like this is some serious work here. And I said, this guy can. He was very active, man, coming fast, strong. And I said, oh, okay, like I had to fight back, and we had a good little scrabble with me and him, man. I remember after that sparring session, I think he got the best of me, like got the best of me pretty bad, pretty obvious. And I think he was pretty much like, I think I earned my respect though. I think he knew that I wasn't gonna back down, and I told him that I'll come back, and that was some good work and all that, man. And I remember I left to my apartment or to Reyna's where I was staying at, and then I just remember I called my dad, and I was like, hey man, these guys are for real, man. Like this kid, I sparred, he's really good, like really good. And he's like, hey, well you better get in shape and get in your tip top. I think we did like 2 rounds or so, and you know, that was that, man. And then I picked up another fight. I'd fight, and I ended up winning. My biggest win, I fought a guy named Rosario. I beat him, and then I fought a guy. I fought Cesar Villa from Victoria, and that was my first time I ever been dropped. I got dropped on that one. I got TKO'd. I've never been knocked out, never been dropped, to my chin or my. But when I fought that guy, I had just sparred Hector Ramos the week before. And I don't like to talk about a lot of the stuff that I went through in my past because there's a lot of, I was young, I was pretty stupid and dumb. But I had a lot of like issues going on with, just in general with being young teenage guy, young teenager. And I remember I was going through stuff there with that. And then my mom and my dad, I think, were kind of actually fighting as well. I don't remember, but. And then when I sparred Hector Ramos, and he beat me up so bad, guys, like, he gave me some good work. I remember he caught me with a shot, and in my eye right here got like a ball. And I remember we put like a meat pack on it, me and my dad, and it ended up giving me a black eye. So I had a big old shiner here. How's it looking going to a fight, and you got a black eye on you? Your opponent's like, really, dude? Like, and the guy I fought was Cesar Villa. Ended up being a 2-time state champion or 3-time state champion and ranked number 5, and eventually he became a ranked number 5 in the nation. And at that time we were both like, I think he had like 6 fights and I had 7, or it was something close. And but my family was there in Victoria, so that was a big fight for me. And I remember the first round with that guy, he just put a lot of pressure on me, man. Boom, boom, boom. We just kept fighting, boom, boom. And I finally threw a right hand left hook and I caught him. And I normally when I hit somebody really hard like that, catch them flush, they go down or they get hurt. Well, this dude got hit. He goes, and I'm like, okay, let's go. And we started throwing, and we're throwing hard. And I remember we tied up a little bit, like we kind of got a little clinch, and I I backed up, and when I backed up, he threw a left hook, and that's just experience, man. That's my lack of unexperience, and props to him, and no excuses. Caught me right here in the body. As I was backing up, he came in here. Ooh. When he caught me, I went. I mean, I lost complete all air. My body went shut down, and I went down on my knees, and I was like, ooh, I couldn't catch my air. When I finally, like, I remember I was like, oh, and when I finally caught my first air, I looked up at the referee, and he was already at 8. And I was like, whew. And I got up, and the referee, when I got up at 9, the referee stopped it. And that was the first time I had that happen to me. I was TKO'd, knocked out. I was technically knocked out. What is it? Technical knockout. And that was a reality check right there. That's when I got to the, after I got done, and all my family, said, hey, this guy's not that, he's a good fighter. This guy's very good. Of course, I always feel like I get matched up with the best fighters. And I got in the car, and I remember I bawled out. I cried. My dad, and my dad told me he thinks that maybe I should stop boxing. Can you imagine that? Like, someone that I admire in the sport, or I look up to, told me that maybe this sport isn't for me. I don't think it was because I wasn't good, guys. I think it was because it hurt him to see me get hurt. They told me after a couple days later, they told me that when I got dropped to the body, my dad was going inside the ring, like he was trying to jump in the ring, and he wanted to fight that guy. But like that, he was trying to jump up, and like my uncle, my Theo Candy, had to grab him, like, Charlie, you can't go up there, you can't go up there. And I'm sure. I mean, I can only imagine seeing one of my kids get hurt. But to when I heard that, it made me realize how much he loved me, and to see his kid, you know, get hurt like that. So I made a vow to myself that if I'm gonna continue doing this, I gotta put all the BS aside. Like, I gotta dedicate myself, because it's not fair to my dad. It's not fair to me. It's not fair to my family, my fans, whoever's following me. Like, it wasn't fair to them. So I needed to take it serious, and I needed to put all that drama and all that girl stuff away, man, and just put it, get dedicate myself to that. And I lost sight of that, because I'm young. I was young. I was like 20, 22, or no, I was 20 because my dad was still alive. I was 20, 21. And yeah, man. So that happened. That was the first defeat, and I took about a month or two off. And I remember I gained a little bit of weight, because as a boxer, you're always dieting, man. You can never just eat right and not worry about not gaining weight. So, we get back on it, man. After about a month or two, and decided I told my dad I want to do it, man. Like, I love it, and I messed up. I'm sorry, and he said, okay, let's do it. No more distractions. Okay, so we busted our butts again and got back to it. Fought in the LBCs. No, they were the ABFs back then. Now they're the LBCs, but back then they were the ABFs. And we trained. We trained to fight open. I had like 6 or 7 fights in already, and I remember we trained to fight open, to fight anybody, like open division, fight anybody to be able to advance to state. And when you're novice, sub novice, or novice, and all that stuff, all you can do is just win. It's like being in JV. That's what I'm saying. It's basically what I'm saying. Any amateur boxer or any professional boxer will tell you that being a novice or sub novice, winning the Golden Gloves, or winning the a tournament in a sub novice or novice division is like winning JV football. Like winning, I mean, that's still good, but you can't advance. Like, you fight guys, you're limited to the guys that you can fight. Now, when you fight open, like open division, where I know my dad, Wala, my friends Heidel, Whitaker, Caesar Villa, Hector Ramos, them guys fought. Daniel, they all fought open. Stephen Hall, and when they win the tournaments, you go to state, because you're like varsity. So once you win the open division in the gloves, you advance to state, which is Fort Worth. And then if you win state, you advance to nationals, which is going to be in Vegas, Kansas, or wherever it's at. And I never had gotten there before, but I fought in the ABFs, and I wanted to fight open. But they told my dad, they're like, Charlie, keep them down, man, because these guys that they're going to fight, they're pretty good, man. And the ABFs is not a big tournament like the Golden Gloves. It's just a tournament. The furthest you can go, I think he said the furthest you can go is state. You can't advance after state because there's no nationals for the ABS. This is back in 2008, 2007 or so, because my dad was still alive. And I was like, so we fought novice, and I fought Mario Renteria. And this is crazy, man. They said he was my twin. We looked just like each other. He was just taller than me, and and that dude has some serious power too. Never hurt me, but what happened with that fight, guys, was I lost that fight. What happened? I this is after I already built up a couple wins, and then I fought him in the ABS. When I fought him, I completely forgot from Catula to San Antonio. I forgot my mouthpiece. I left it here in Catula. I didn't pack it up. Stupid, right? Like that's one of the main things you need. Well, I had to use Isaiah's mouthpiece. It was a football mouthpiece. It was a double mouthpiece. And well, at first it's good. At first it's good. I was looking for something to drink. Thirsty. At first it's good, but after like a while, you start breathing hard and getting tired. You start breathing from your mouth with your mouth open, and you get punched, and the mouth comes out, and then guy gave me 2 warnings, took a point off, and and he beat me. Beat me. I think it was 3-2. He beat me. So I had a little up and down career, and like I said, I was saying earlier, my biggest fight was when I fought Johnny Thomas. Make a story on that, man. After building up some wins, and so I ended up going to I think it was the Kelly Air Force or the Lackland Air Force Base. Man, talk about pressure, man. Those are some big events, man. They got stadiums full of military all over the place, man. Hoorah! And all this yelling going on, man. And you walk in there, and it's their event. It's their event. And I remember I walked in there, and I remember, I was already on a winning streak there back then. And we get there, and we just go weigh in and get matched up. Well, when I get in there, I weigh myself. I'm about 155, 154. Um, there's this guy. He's a black guy. He's like, ooh, just being loud, real loud. Not even fighting, just being real loud, and just like, whoever in here is gonna. He literally gets up in front of everybody. He's like, whoever in here is gonna fight Johnny Thomas, I wish you nothing but the best. You're gonna lose. Don't even think about winning, and just going off, man. Like in front of nobody even knows who this guy is. And he's just going off like, Johnny Thomas. Oh, I feel sorry. He just kept saying, I feel sorry. If you're fighting Johnny Thomas, I feel sorry for you. Whoever you are fighting Johnny Thomas, good luck, and I feel sorry for you. And I just remember looking at my dad and being like, man, you hear this dude? Like, man, thank God I'm not fighting Johnny Thomas, man. Like, that's kind of bad. And he's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So we wait. I weigh in, and then I leave to the car to go eat, and my dad's doing his coaching meeting, and then he finally gets in the car, and we're going back to Catula because that event, the Lackland or the Kelly Air Force, but not too sure what it is. They don't start till 6 or 7, and my dad's like, let's go back to Catula, and let's go to Catula, and we'll come back around 5. This is early in the morning, like 9 or 10 or 8 o'clock in the morning. I said okay, so we eat breakfast and go back. We're on the way back, and I just remember I was like driving back, and I was just like, Dad, did you hear about that? You hear that guy, man? Like I want to know who's fighting Johnny Thomas, because I want to watch that fight. And he's like, it's crazy, son. Like they used to do that when I was fighting. Me and my brothers were fighting. They used to say like stuff like that. I was like, yeah, man, that's some respect, man. Like I gave a lot of respect for that, because you guys must be really good. And he's like, yeah. And then I was like, I wonder who the guy Johnny Thomas is fighting feels right now, like what he's going through right now. To hear what he just heard, I wonder what he's going through right now. And my dad was just like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's pretty nervous, and he's in for a fight. He's in for a good fight. I said, yeah, man. I just remember I was like, man, that's crazy, man. And driving down, I'm like, hey, Dad, you got me pre-match? He's like, yeah, I got you pre-match. You got a fight for sure. I was like, oh, okay, I got matched up. He goes, yeah, you got matched up. Got you a fight. Because when you go to smokers events, like fights like that, and you're not matched up, there's a good possibility you might not fight, or a good possibility you might fight. It just depends on if you get matched up or not. And when he was just telling me, he's like, yeah, you got matched up, son. You're gonna fight. Be ready. And I remember I was like talking to people, and I was like gonna tell them my phone. I was like, I was like, what, I'm gonna let them know. Come check this fight out, man. I'm in good shape. I'm ready to fight, and I'm ready to rock and roll. And I was texting my friends already, telling them, hey, you might want to come watch me fight, bro. Like I'm gonna fight at this clock, this time, and come watch me out. And then when my dad was driving back, my dad's like, hey, so do you want to know who you're fighting? I was like, yeah. You have a name for him, or what's up? What's his record? Or who is he? He goes, well, okay. I'm gonna let you know he's real good. Oh, okay. Um, you want to know who you're fighting? I go, yeah. Who am I fighting? I went ahead and matched you up with Johnny Thomas. What? He said, I went ahead and matched you up with Johnny Thomas. I said, you serious, man? And he's like, yeah. I go, did you not hear that guy? Did you not hear that guy talking about how good Johnny Thomas was, and you're gonna match me up with him? Like, why are you doing that? And he's like, because I believe in you, son. And if we're gonna do this, we're gonna fight the best. And I just remember I went from like being good and telling my friends and that, say, hey, bro, don't come to this fight because it's gonna get bad. Don't come to this fight. And well, we ended up going back to go home to Catula, and I just remember I just trying to play a scenario. Jacob, my hype man, was like, "You got this, boy. You got this." And you know, Isaiah was telling me stuff, and and then finally get to the event, and I just pure dominated him, man. Just beat him. You know, stronger than him. I heard him. I was in better shape than him, and I just beat him, man. And that was the highlight. My mom was going crazy. He was good. I'm not gonna lie to you and say he ended up winning the Golden Gloves Open division that year. Went to state. I think he lost in state, but he made that was a big old article about him, and I had beaten him, and I remember when I fought later on in the gloves, I was talking to some guys when we were weighing in the finals, and they were like, "Oh man, I wanted like the guys behind me were like, I wanted to fight Johnny Thomas," and I was like, I looked at him and he's just like. I said, "You want to fight Johnny Thomas?" He's like, "Yeah." I go, "I fought him." He goes, "You fought Johnny Thomas?" I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "You fought Johnny Thomas?" He goes, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." "Well, how much you weigh?" I go, "Right now I weigh 152, but when I fought him, I was weighing like 155, 158 or something. I don't remember, but I fought him and I beat him. You beat Johnny Thomas? I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, okay. I know who you are, man. You're a good little fighter and all this stuff, man. But when you beat someone like that, you just start getting a lot of recognition. And think. I mean, not that I ever got crazy big, but you start getting a little bit of respect." And I just remember beating him, and that was pretty much the highlight of my boxing career, beating him. And then we'll go to the gym, and I'll tell you guys the truth, man. More of my like sparring when I went to go to San Fernando, like sparring those guys, Heido, Kendo. I sparred Kendo one time. It was crazy because Kendo was a national state champion, and then he went to nationals and got like really really high up there, man. Maybe top four, dude. I don't even remember. But when he came back, nobody really wanted to spar with him because he was just another like a beast, dude. And so they asked me if I wanted to spar him, and I'm like, yeah. And they're like, hey, Miranda, hey, Cotula. He goes, but take it easy on him, man, because you're a lot bigger than him, man. I'm like 160, and I think Kendall was like 123, 125 or something like that. And I was like, yeah, of course, I'm gonna work with him, man. Like I have respect for his brother, both his brothers, Felipe and Jairo. I'm gonna respect him. I'm gonna work with him. And Kendall wasn't backing down from nobody, man. So I was all right. So let me see what this kid's got. I think he was like 15, 16, and I'm already 21 or something like that. And go first round, come in, and this kid throws me a hard left hook to the body. And I remember when he hit me, I said, "Oh," I said, "I can't go easy on this kid. This kid gonna hurt me and knock me out. Like, boy can throw hard." And I mean, I wasn't really throwing hard on him, man, but I had to like not play around with this kid because he was good. I mean, now he's older and stronger and fighting on TV and everything like that, man. And he kept it going, man. He's fought a lot of great fighters, man. But I remember I got in there with him, and I knew off the back. I told my brothers, and I told Jacob, I said, this kid is gonna be something big in the sport because he is really good. Like really for being small, he throws pretty damn hard. Like I'm not playing with you guys, man. He's really good. Uh, he was really good. Daniel was a beast, man. Daniel was a beast. We get so many awards with that guy. He's left-handed, really, 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 really strong. Man, my boy Steve Hall, man. If you're watching this, bro, I hope you're watching this, Steve Hall. But man, me and you always smelled like alcohol, man. You always smelled like alcohol sparring. But you were a very, very good fighter, man. You were very, very like. I think he's from Ireland or something, man. But England. He's from England, I think. And man, this dude is a beast, man. I know he had an amateur career, but he's a lot older than me. And I didn't really follow him too much in the amateurs. But when I went in the amateurs, he was already a pro, and he had a ugly start, but he built up, became a Texas champion and everything like that, man. But man, me and that dude would spar. I hated sparring him because he would put a lot of pressure on me, and I couldn't get him off me. And man, me and that guy had some good awards. Steve Hall, man, nothing but love for you, champ. And I wish you nothing but the best and success in your life and everybody, man. All my friends, Heido, Daniel, Kendall, and my boy Whitaker. Whitaker, man. Man, we got some good work, me and that boy. A lot of people said that me and Whitaker were doing to fight each other back in 2009. My dad passed away, or before my dad passed away, or it might have been 2008. I don't know. One of those days, one of those years, and everybody was saying that me and Whitaker were gonna fight. We're gonna meet up in the match. We had got invited to the Golden Gloves, and he signed up, but he was fighting for a gym, Boys and Girls Club, and I was fighting for San Fernando. And I remember going. The talk of the gym was, "Hey, Cotula, you're gonna fight the gloves." He goes, "Yeah, 152." He goes, "Look, everybody was like, guarantee it's gonna be you against Whitaker in the finals." And there was like 4 or 5 of us in the bracket. And unfortunately, that's didn't happen because I'm gonna tell you a story. I ended up sparring Heido the week, and Heido, I'll let you know, bro. This story here, I gotta tell it. I gotta tell it. Um, Heido would always never back down from nobody. Fight everybody. Small. Will be 140 pounds. Fight guys that are 160. Those guys are not scared. Those guys are real definitions of real boxers. But that particular week, I think it was my last week before the gloves, and I needed some sparring. It was my last sparring session, and I was already in tip-top shape, ready to go. Heido couldn't fight in the gloves because I'm not too sure why, but I think it has something to do with where he was born or something like that, or something like that. That he wasn't able to fight in the gloves. I really don't know the story on that, but I just remember he couldn't fight, and he always fought at 141 pounds. He always fought lower than me, but that particular week we had a fight and we had a sparring session, but I had to weigh in. I had to do my physical on Saturday, and then my weigh-ins were the following week. With that Tuesday was supposed to be my last sparring session, and so I went, and of course Heido's there, Daniel's there, Ronnie Cantu's there, and all that, man. Ronnie was just too little for me, man. But Ronnie was a beast, man. I never fought him, never sparred with him, but he had beautiful to him. Javier, they had beautiful techniques, man. They never turned pro. Well, Javi did. I think he went pretty good. I don't know how far he went, but he was just kind of little. But Ronnie never did. Ronnie graduated from UTSA. I know that, and he did good for himself. He's been doing real good for himself. But go back to what I was saying, man. I sparred Heido my last sparring session, and Heido, man. I know you probably don't remember this, bro, because you sparred and fought so many other guys. But like it sticks to me because I didn't have a big background with boxing. But I do remember this. I put it on you, bro. I remember that Tuesday, I caught you with a good right hand. I didn't drop you or nothing like that, but I caught you, and I remember I busted your nose. I remember you were bleeding. And I think you got kind of embarrassed, bro. Like I'm just gonna admit, I think you got embarrassed or you were kind of like mad. And I remember, I didn't play with you, man, but I was just, I was already in tip top shape, man, and I don't think you were even training. And I just remember after everything was done, we finished. Got off the ring, and I was like, I know, I'm ready. I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to find these gloves. All this chatting about Whitaker and me, like let's make it happen. And I got off, and you came up to me, and you were like, "Hey, that was some good work. You know how you're good work. You hit my hand, but you hit it pretty hard, so I know you were mad." And you were like, "Hey, come back Thursday." And I was like, "No, dude, I'm done already, man. Like I'm done sparring. Like that's my last. No, man, I need to get some work, man, because I'm gonna fight here and this and that. But you come back Tuesday, man, or come back tomorrow." I was like, "Nah, man." And I kind of started feeling like pressure. And I was like, "You know what? I'll come back Thursday, man. It won't hurt to get another session, man. I'll come back Thursday." That was the biggest mistake I ever did because I came back Thursday, and you came back Thursday, and you came back, with, in vengeance. And I remember you broke my nose, man. I remember you cut me up right here, tore me to pieces, man. Beat me up pretty bad, man. I just remember I was like, this isn't the same guy I sparred on Tuesday. This is a whole different fighter. And I just remember you let me have it. I remember you gave me a cut right here. And the doctors and everybody checked me out, and they were like, "Hey, you got a light break. You're not gonna be able to fight." And I couldn't fight in the gloves, and I missed out on that one. But and that was good times right there, man. Very good times with my friends over there, man. My buddies, and I don't take nothing back. I wish I would have fought Whitaker. I don't know what would have happened. We sparred many times, me and Whitaker, and he got me sometimes. I get him sometimes, but I just don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I think that would have been a good chess match. Good chess match because he's a very strong fighter too, and very very active. But I guess we'll never know unless you want to run it back right now, Whitaker. We can, but no, I'm just playing, man. I'm a lot older, but nah, man, it was some good work, man, and I enjoyed all those guys. After I got my respect from them guys, they treated me like a brother. To this day, they hit me up every day or every other day and want to play some poker, want to do this, and always respectful, man. Always respectful, and I take my hats off to these guys. Every single one of them. Daniel, Heido, Kendall, Ronnie, Javi, Steve Hall, Whitaker, uh, Pete, all those guys, man. I take my hat off to you guys, man. You guys are very, very, very good fighters and well respected people, man. But yeah, man. So that happened. Then of course my dad passed away in '09, and I had some bumps and bruises, man. I fought some guys that I thought I beat up. I fought a guy in San Marcos at a biker rally, and I just whooped him, man. I gave him 2 8 counts. I cut his eye open right here. I cut right here, busted his nose, and they still gave him the fight. It's just a lot of the amateurs is really hard to win. I guess you can't really take too much. There's some fights that I thought I lost and I ended up winning. So, it's just how it is, man. But the last thing I want to talk about, the last two things I want to talk about was after my dad died. Um, I decided I wanted to come back. It was I wanted to try it. I had goals of fulfilling, and I never wanted to give it up without giving it a fighting chance. And I remember I came back. I gained weight, of course, when my dad died, and I decided I wasn't gonna box number, but I came back, and I had to lose my weight first, about 180, and I lost my weight. I took my first fight, and I took my first fight. It's on YouTube, and my uncle Jacob and Wada trained me, and we fought a guy named Sergio Nino, and I just remember that they were talking big about him when I got there, and they were mentioning him like he's the next big thing, and he was good, and he fought Whitaker. He lost to Whitaker as well, but he was a pretty good fighter, and I just remember he was a short fighter, very very active, and I just remember I was like, oh, I don't know who he is, but I haven't fought in 2 years because my dad passed away, and I want I'm ready to come back. So we weigh in, and I think we got 55, 52, 53, whatever we're at. And the night before we went there, I stayed in San Antonio with my tia Reina and Mike, my ex uncle Mike. He's not my uncle no more, but Mike. And we uh we stay in a room. Well, my brother Isaiah's with me. Isaiah follows boxing, loves boxing, and Isaiah's a snorer. Isaiah's a bad snorer, like my dad. Bad, 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 bad. And I remember I couldn't sleep all night, man. And I was telling Isaiah, yeah, man, stop, dude. Like I got to fight tomorrow. And by the time it was 7 o'clock in the morning, and I had to weigh in at 8 o'clock. So I'm up, weigh in, and I see my opponent, little guy, short, a little stocky. Like we'll see what's up. And it was I tried to get some sleep before my fight. Fight was at 3. Ended up being I'm the main event with this guy. And when we get to the event, um, it's packed, and it's summertime, guys. So it is humid in there, man. Like humid in there. And I remember I was just like, me and Heido trained. Like we were already friends. We were, he was fighting lower, and he fought a guy named Jeremy from I think Texas State as San Marcos, and or something like that. And he was a fight before me, and I was the main event. So we both trained each other, and we were both representing San Fernando. And the belt, we get in there, and I'm at that point I'm like getting my hands wrapped and getting in there, and my legs are so bad because I haven't slept. I'm so drained that I literally wanted to tell Jacob, hey Jacob, I don't think I want to do this, man, because I just didn't feel right. I hadn't slept. My body's shutting down on me, like my body's not right. But then I look at the crowd. I had my tío Frankie, my tío Mao, Edwin and his wife, and my friend Daniel Ocio, Denise Sanchez. I have friends there that were supporting me, man. So I was like, and Jacob told me, he goes, boy, you can't quit now, man. Like you got people here who pay to watch you, so you need to go through with this. And I'm like, you're right, you're right, because I wanted out, man. My legs went under me, and so but I remember the fight before mine was Heidel and that guy Jeremy. And I just remember I was warming up, and Jacob was like, hey, they got 3 rounds. They're going to fight 3 minutes. You got a little time to relax. Just, get warmed up and this and that. Well, the first round brings with that fight, and Heido catches him with the overhand right. I know how strong that right hand is. So when me and Jacob saw it, we're like, let's go, man. Start getting ready because this guy's going to be knocking him out. So we started boom, 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 warming up and getting ready to, start breaking a sweat. Well, that fight ended up lasting 3 rounds, and I think Heido won that fight. And so I'm already drenched in sweat. I'm already tired. So then when me and Sergio come in the main event, it took me about half a round to get my feet under me. And I just remember he caught me with a good left hook to the body one time. just kind of hurt me, but I was able to move around it and keep my composure, and I beat him. I beat him. I went southpaw because my legs are so bad that I went left-handed and I beat him. You know, beat him left-handed because I just didn't feel right being regular. So yeah, I beat him. Well, a lot of people say that it was a close fight, but I beat you and I'll beat you again. But I beat him, and I keep telling myself it would have been worse if I was 100%. It would have been worse, but I make no excuses. I still beat him. So that is that. And then yeah, man. Then um, I ended up fighting. Um, you know what? I wanna go back a little bit. I completely forgot about this. This is another thing I want to talk about. My last fight with my dad is what I want to talk about. So we prepared for the gloves back in '09. After the one before that one is when Jairo missed up my nose. So I couldn't fight on that one. And then you know what? I'll take that back. The one the Jairo missed up my nose was 2010. That was my dad already had passed away, and so I wasn't able to fight that one. But the one before that was 2009. My last fight with my dad in the Golden Gloves in San Antonio. I fought a guy named Idric Simmons in the first round, and I stopped him, made him quit. I stopped him, and I TKO him, made him quit, beat him up. Tall black guy, about 6'1", 6'2", beat him up, easy. You know, nothing to it. Well, I had seen a guy fight previously before that in a show before that, and his name was he had the Mexico colors, red, green, and white. And I remember I said he called me out one time. He just didn't even know who I was, and he was like they wanted to fight somebody. He wanted to fight me because they knew my dad. And I was like, dude, you don't even know like who I am, bro. Like, how much do you weigh? 140 pounds. I'm like 160 right now. You want to fight me? Like, get out of here, man. And that dude wanted to fight anybody. He ended up fighting somebody about 165 pounds and stopped him. And I remember when my dad was telling me, because you see that kid, my dad was still alive, of course, and he was like my last years with my dad. He's like, you see that kid that calls everybody out? He goes, that's the way we used to be, man. We used to call everybody out. When you know you're that good, you fight anybody. So I seen him fight. He stopped that 165 pounder. He beat him up, stopped him, knocked him out, everything, man. And I remember I was like, whoa, that's some serious work right there. So fast forward to the Golden Gloves, I get a call. We're here at my house in Catula, and my dad gets a call, and he's like, "Hey Chip, come here. I got some good news and some bad news about the Golden Gloves." I said, "What's up, man? What's the good news? What's the bad news?" He's like, "Well, the good news is there's only 3 of y'all in the bracket." I said, "Well, that's pretty good news." He goes, "And the other good news is you're gonna fight Edric Simmons, who you already beat previously. You're gonna fight him again in the first round." I said, "Oh, okay. Well, what's the bad news, man? Tell me what the bad news is." The bad news is you're gonna fight that guy. You remember that guy from the show we saw with the Mexico colors? Oh yeah, Angel or something like that. He goes, yeah. If you win, you fight him in the finals. I was like, oh gosh, like that guy's good, man. Like I know he's good. You start hearing like little rumors and chit chat, and that dude's a national champion and all this stuff, and it's just like, oh man. So, well, we'll see what happens. So, first round, like I said, I beat Edric Simmons. I beat him, stopped him, TKO'd him, and then I knew that was a Thursday. So Friday we were off, but I had to stay low on my weight because I had to make weight again on Saturday. So I'm all day Friday. I'm like thinking about my game plan and telling my uncle Jacob, because Jacob was kind of staying with me in San Antonio and we were training together. He made me run and work with me out. My dad was kind of like, hey, stay, work with him, train him. We got to fight Saturday, keep him low on weight. We weigh in for, Saturday, and I see Angel, and I'm just like, oh man, like this guy's like unreal to me, man. Like I think he's another beast. Well, you know, we get in it, and I start looking at him shadow boxing, and I said, man, I told Jacob, I go, hey man, on my dad, I like this guy's good, man. Like look at him, man. He's got all his credentials, like he's got everything, man. Like he's got all this experience, national titles, and everything, man. And like this is the real deal, man. And then my dad was telling me, yeah, but you belong here. You belong here, and you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be here, and this and that. It was Time Warner. We fought on Time Warner at the man, I think it was a Scottish village up there in 1604 or something like that. And when I'm up there in the ring and I see him, there's a spotlight, and then there's like a crowd. You can't see the crowd; it's all pitch black. But you see like a little section where the VIPs are at, where all the both the people are at, and they got money and everything over there, man. And they're just cheering. They don't even know who you are, and they're just cheering for you. Come on, Kutula, Carlos, and here. But when I saw my opponent, I was like, okay. I'm gonna tell you something, guys, man. That's when you test yourself. That's when you know if you have the balls, if you have the guts to do it. Because I knew what this guy was already capable of doing, and I knew that I was in for a war. And for me to able to still fight him and be up there means that this was something big, man. And man, dude, that was a war, man. We had a war. He beat me. I'll give it to him, man. He beat me. He was very very awkward, man. Very very awkward. He threw some punches that I'd never seen before. But man, it was an honor to share the ring with that guy, man. National champion and all that, man. But he ended up fighting Errol Spence the following week. He fought Errol Spence up there in the state Golden Gloves. Cause like I said, I was open fighter, and when you win, if I would have won that fight, we would have advanced. The winner, it advances to state, and I would have fought Errol Spence up there in Fort Worth, and unfortunately, me and Angel fought. It was a close. He beat me 3-2. I believe it was three judges to two judges. Close fight, but beat me. He was just good, man. He just threw some punches that I never really seen before, and you know, that was that. And to top it off, before I'm gonna make a call to my brother and one of my friends. Before I end my conversation with my boxing career, after the gloves, there was a guy calling me out. He called my gym, and I think my gym in San Fran. I don't know where I was training at. He called my uncle, somebody, and they got a hold of me and they told me that they want to fight me. I said, okay, well, who are you? And said his name was Joshua Gomez. I said, I don't know who this guy is, whatever. So, oh yeah, no, my dad was still alive, guys. So yeah, they called my dad, and my dad was like, Chip, hey, this guy's calling you out. I take that very personal. You gotta fight him. So let's go. I don't know who you are, but you wanna call me out? Let's go. I'm not really training that good because I just fought the gloves, so I took about a month off or so to recover. Because at that point, guys, I'm open. You're fighting 3-minute rounds. You're not doing the novice no more. You're doing open. It's not a minute rounds. It's 3-minute rounds. I fought 3-minute rounds, and I said, okay, well, what's up? Let's go. You want to call me out? Let's go. So I ended up fighting in the Lackland Air Force Base. The Kelly, again, I don't know which Air Force base it is, but we fight in the Air Force Base. And it's not to the very last minute when I'm already shadowboxing. Well, that morning, I wake up, and they never call me to go weigh in. And my Jacob's with me. We're in San Antonio. We're staying together. And Jacob's like, hey, boy, they never called me to go weigh in. Like, what the hell's going on? So Jacob calls, and he's like, hey, man, nobody said what time's the weigh in or what's up? Like, he goes, oh, we already weighed in. We already weighed in this morning. Who are you now? It's Carlos Miranda. I'm supposed to fight Joshua Gomez. He goes, oh, yeah. Hey, man, don't worry about your weight. I said, what? He said, don't worry about your weight. Go in and come in. And just weigh in at whatever, and you'll be good. So I look at Jacob. Jacob looked at me, and we're like, what the hell is this, man? Like, go ahead and eat something. I go, I haven't eaten, man. He goes, go eat something, man, but just come in. Come weigh in and just go eat something. So Jacob took me to Chili's, and I ate like a chicken breast. And, I was like, what the hell? That's weird, man. Like, they don't worry about my weight. Like, so I get in, and I'm already low on weight because I ate the grilled chicken, I weighed 153. And I just remember I was like, I gotta stay low because I don't know what the hell this is about. And I weighed 153, and nobody talks about anything. And my dad's running late because he's in Catula, driving to the base, and he gets lost in the base because it's like a lot of driving. And then it's not to the very last second when I'm warming up, and they tell me my dad's running late. He's not gonna make it. He's running behind. Try to stall. Well, my fight comes up, and I'm just like, okay, somebody. Pete Cantu was refereeing me. Was being my coach and giving me advice and everything like that. And he ended up being my corner man. Jacob didn't have his license, so he couldn't be there. He was just in the sideline. And I remember I'm warming up, and then I get to the top of the ring. It would happen like that, quick. Everything went quick. And I just remember looking in the crowd. It's all military, all army, military, marines, all everybody. And I just remember I was like, "Oh, this is pretty big." I go, "This guy's been calling me out. I want to see who's up." He comes out with like a song, and I think he was from the Marines, or the Marines, the Air Force. And he comes out with his flag and everything like that. And I'm just like, "What's up, man? Like, who is this guy?" And then they tell me, Mr. Cantu tells me, "Hey, meet Catula." He goes, "You need to be careful, man." I go, "Why? What's up?" And he goes, "You know who you're fighting?" I said, "Well, this guy. This guy called me out. I guess I'll fight this guy." He's like, "Hey, Catula, this is Joshua Gomez." I said, "Oh, I don't know who this guy is." He goes, "This dude's ranked number 4 in the nation. Like, He's a good fighter. He's ranked number 4 in the nation. In my head, I'm like, dude, you're telling me that like right now, as I'm in like the ring with him, like when you could have told me that a long time ago, and I could have found a reason not to be in here. I go, holy crap! Like I look at Jacob, but Jacob's can't be in the gym with me, so he's in the crowd, and I'm like looking at him, and he's like, where's my dad? He's like, he's not here yet, and I'm like, oh man. So right there, I had to like turn up a 360 and be like, you know what, I'm good too. So I see him, stocky dude, stocky, just a big dude, man. I was like, big stocky dude, short like me, like my height, but just way bigger than me. I'm like, okay, man, let's go. And we shake hands, and he passed me hard. I said, okay, that was pretty hard, but whatever, let's do this. So first bell rings, ding, come on the middle, get there, and I throw a left hook, boom, and I caught him, boom, right here in the jaw, boom, buckled. He fell to the ropes, and when he fell to the ropes caught him. I said, oh man, I said, this is easy work. So I started throwing at him, boom, 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 boom. Well, he didn't go down. So we started scrabbling and throwing and boom, boom, having a war, man. And I remember, man, I don't remember much of the fight because that dude was a really, really strong fighter. But I just remember that we got, after the fight was over, we got a standing ovation. I think we got fight of the night. And it was just an awesome experience with that guy. Well, it turns out that dude is I still keep in contact with him. He's a good dude. He's that girl. She's a UFC fighter. Karate Hottie, that UFC or MMA fighter. That's her husband. I fought him in the Air Force Base here in San Antonio back in 2009. Well, the last fight with my dad. My dad made it, but towards the end of the fight, and he couldn't come in because he was already missing it. So, but that was the last fight I had with him alive, and Angel was the last fight I had with him. In my corner. But that was my boxing career, man. And um, I fought 2 more times after my dad died. I fought Sergio Nino, and then I fought Caesar again. I tried to avenge that loss I had with the knockout, the only knockout they gave me, and he was already just too big for me, man. He already had too much experience. He already fought so many different fighters that I just couldn't keep up with him, man. He was just too good. Um, I think I ended up my record like being 18-7, I believe, or something like that. I don't remember. I think I had 25 fights. I think I was 18-7 or 17-8 or something like that, man. And of course, the amateurs, man, you just you win some, you lose some, And there are some losses there that I had that I know I won, but yeah, man, I turned pro. I turned pro in 2014, 2015, but I had a fight scheduled with Corey Randall, and then at last second got he pulled out, and I had to fight someone else, and I hadn't been in the ring in a long time, and I wasn't gonna fight a guy that already had experience. Corey Randall, I believe, was like 0-3 or something like that, and I was gonna take that, and then they matched me up with someone else that had, I think, 3-0, 3-0 or something like that. And I was like, no, I need to build up my record up first, and then so never happened. And I got married, had kids, and my throat started to hurt a little bit. So, but yeah, man, that's my boxing career, man. I hope I got everything in there. I'm gonna make some phone calls real quick, man. So let me I want to get them in there real quick and see what we can give you a little peek surprise here, man. Um, thank y'all for tuning in. Chale Legacy podcast number 10. Um, boy, oh man, I'm doing a podcast. I'm doing a podcast, and I wanted to put you on there. Hey, I'm hoping these guys can hear. I'm not gonna put this dude. It's my brother. Hey, Zaya, tell these people what is it like to spar me. When you spar me, like what do you describe me as a boxer?
I probably say like you're very Can you hear me good?
I think so. I have the thing on you.
You're just very crafty, bro. Like you're very awkward to fight. Like it's kind of hard. Like you're there, but you're not there. And then I think that you're running, but you're also like putting pressure at the same time. Like um, your power is pretty good too. You're just like heavy-handed in a sense, like pretty fast. Overall, he's just pretty skilled. Like I mean, it's hard to like set up. It's hard to set up punches with my brother because he's very smart. Like he'll figure you out kind of quick and see what you're trying to do to him, and then he'll readjust, and then like, he'll take that away, or I mean, I feel like every time I score my brother, I always try to come up with some kind of like game plan to beat him. Like, what can I do to like outbox him, or and then maybe not necessarily hurt him because he's my brother. I'm not trying to hurt him, but like, it's just hard to hit him. Like he's very smart, and he uses his legs. He's super athletic. And I think that's the best thing that I can describe you as a fighter is just super athletic. Like use your legs. You're always in and out. You can run if you have to, and then you're very like in shape, so you can put pressure if you feel like you need to. He can switch. He's a switch hitter. So he can fight both styles, southpaw and orthodox. So
Hey,
it's all his.
hey, what's your one memory that we had sparring together?
Man, we sparred like probably I want to say almost like 10,000 rounds or more, dude. So I don't even. There's so much sparring sessions. I don't know, man. There's so many. Like I I feel like I'll be honest. Like I feel like Chuck got the best of me out of most of those sparring sessions.
Of
But
course, of
you know, I
course.
held my own a little bit. You know what I mean? But
That's
I don't know. I
without
feel like
question.
it's kind of hard to like hurt you or hit you. Like I don't know. It's kind of hard to like land clean with you. So anytime I land flush, it's like a win for me because I feel like I can never really hit you flush. But you're just very crafty, bro. It's just hard to like. There's so many sparring sessions I can't pick and choose like which one. But I don't even remember the last time we had like the last sparring session. It's been like almost a year or months now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I just wanted to get you on here, bro. Sorry, man. I know you're busy, man, but
nah,
I want to
absolutely.
get you on here, man. I know you're. He's my brother's in Dallas right now, he getting his interview,
CDO training
his CDO training and everything. He got hired
Cisco.
with Cisco, man. So he's doing big things up there in Dallas. Kind of sacrificing being away from his family, but doing it for his family. So very proud of my brother.
Yeah.
I'll let you go, champ.
All right. Let's go.
All right. This is crazy, man. Let me make one more phone call, man. Just talk, man. And, it's a good with these guys that I've been working with, man. That I used to box with and play with, man, and do all this stuff. I just wanted to talk to get them on there, man, because I haven't been doing this in a while, man, and I kind of missed it. I got my daughter already texting me, Dad, when you almost done, and like, girl, you must be asleep already, and you know, go from there, man. So I'm make another phone call. This guy's crazy. I got these guys are not here, so I gotta FaceTime them because nobody's here in Cthulhu. Come on, man. Gotta answer the phone. He texts me right now. Go ahead and call me. Well, anyways, let me try one more time. I hope y'all enjoyed this. This is my podcast. I wanted to get it going. I'm already at an hour and 7 minutes in, and hope y'all enjoy it. There he is. There's the main man. This guy was one of my day one since I had the gym open, man. And it's crazy, man. I never really. I'm gonna show y'all right now, but I never knew this guy before. I heard about him, but I've never heard of him. And when I opened the gym up, this dude was always on my team, always helping me out, always had my back, run with me, support. And it's very hard to find people like this, man. So I had to get this guy on because he's been one of the guys that has helped Chale's Legacy gym out so much. And I just wanted to say I appreciate you, man. I know Veterans Day just passed, and I also want to say Happy Veterans Day to you, man. Thank you for all your services. In case y'all don't know who this is, it's the man himself, the Magic Man, Mr. Pac-Man Lopez. There he is, right there.
What's up? What's up, world? How you doing?
What's up, bro? Current situation?
Yeah, Situation TV.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm about an hour in, man. Getting back on this podcast stuff, man. I got a lot of people hitting me up that want to get on it, man. So I know you. I know you're in Florida, champ. So I wish you were down here so we can do a podcast, man. But maybe when you come down soon, man. Hey, I don't want to take too much time, champ. But I just wanted to ask you a question. Hey, as a boxer, we spar many times. Me and this guy. Hey, let these people, because I'm doing a podcast on me, on my boxing career. Let them know. Let them know what it's like when you're in there with me, man. Let them give them a little taste of what it's like to spar Chip.
well, it wasn't too much fun. You know, 'cause I was always winning. So
Yeah, yeah, always winning, always winning.
I'm just kidding. It's definitely a good experience. You know what I mean? Sparring against Chale. You're always learning, always beating me up. Keep your hands up. I was like a kindergartner in there, and those dudes were like varsity.
Yeah,
Man,
hey, but you stayed with it, man. You stayed with it. You never gave up. You even sparred Felipe Casanera, who's I think he's a Texas champion.
yes
So
sir, yes sir. A few rounds in him.
yeah,
It was pretty good, man. Shit, those guys, y'all are in great shape, man. If you do that for a living.
yeah, man. I just wanted to get you on here, man. I think the service is pretty bad, man, and I'm already gonna finish up here, man. But I had to get you on here, man. You want to say anything before I head out?
Where you at right now?
I'm in Catula in my man cave, bro, over here, my little spot where I do my podcasting, man.
I see you got a little spot back there, man. I might have to send you some.
Oh yeah, I know you see all the Dallas Cowboy back here, cause this guy is a Miami Dolphin fan. So
I might have to send you some dolphin gear, man, so you can hang
nah,
up.
man, I got a Dolphin hat, helmet right there somewhere. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna burn it. Nah, Chen. Hey, appreciate you answering, man, and thank you for the words, man.
No problem,
Hey,
man.
champ, we're gonna do this again pretty soon, man. I'm gonna do another one. We'll get you going, man. Interview you and talk to you, man.
Good, man. Family good? Everybody okay?
Yes, sir, champ. Everybody's good. Kid should be asleep right now. He's got school tomorrow, man. But good rock and roll, champ.
All right, sounds good.
All right,
Yeah,
brother, man.
good luck with the podcast.
Yes, sir, champ. I'll put you on there, man. I appreciate you, Pat.
All
Later,
right, have
champ.
a good one. Good
Yes,
night.
sir. Huh? Yeah, man. That guy's been with me since you meet people like this, and he's been with me for a good while, man. And I remember me and Pat would spar a lot, and he always was respectful, man. He never, he. I think he came in the gym one time, um, doing some stuff he shouldn't have done, and I took me one time just to tell him, hey, man, respect my gym. And after that, he was like, hey, definitely. And he never been, he never been disrespectful since. So he's a real good dude, just humble dude, and I consider him like family, man. Always has our back, and always probably one of the guys that would, if I had to get in a scrabble with somebody, and there was more than one, I know he'd get in it with me. Probably not fight fair, but hey, it is what it is, man. But I hope this has been really entertaining to you guys. I might have been. I'm by myself, so it's not like I can converse with anybody. So bear with me. But again, guys, like I said, it's Chale's Legacy Podcast, episode number 10, and I'm gonna have a special guest for you guys on Saturday. There's two guys I believe I'm gonna interview. If everything goes right, I'll interview them, and it won't be too long. But I want to get them out there in the map a little bit because I know a lot of people are following me here, and you know, what I'm trying to say in all this, man, follow your dreams, guys. You never know. Live your life to the fullest. Don't take anything for granted, and 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 live your life, man. Live your life because one day it could be all gone. But I hope y'all enjoy this, and thank y'all for everything. And I'm back. I'm back.